Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you chuck me a yes if you can hear me and see me? Chuck a yes if you can hear me and see me, please. If you can't, yeah, okay, sweet as. Welcome to the session today, Q&A September 2021 on how to spot and avoid scams, a topic very close to myself and to Wasim, who will be doing a bit of presenting with me today. We've both been scammed in the past, and I've been scammed multiple times actually, and I'm pretty switched on, tech savvy, detail oriented person. So it can definitely happen to everyone. So hopefully today we can impart some knowledge to try and maybe help you guys avoid getting caught in some of these traps as well. So I'm going to jump straight into it. Probably going to be, I'm not sure how long the presentation part's going to be. I'd say maybe it's half an hour. I guess it depends on the storytelling, and then we're just going to do an open Q&A for the rest of the time available. And you know, if people have more questions, I'm happy to stay past the allocated time. Just quick disclaimer, in case any of this kind of is relevant, in case we start getting into. Also, guys, just mute. There's a bit of noise coming through, so it is a meeting, so we can hear you. I might, yeah, cool, thanks. So look, firstly, we're not financial advisors, so we don't provide financial advice. It's a lot about our experiences, and if you're able to leverage that for yourself, great. All strategies that we talk about, not necessarily tailored to individual situations. Just keep that in mind. Always do your own research as well. So DYOR. If you're unsure about this space, consult your financial advisor. Maybe they'll be able to give you some useful advice. Maybe not. It depends how knowledgeable they are on the space. No problems, Alison. Crypto has many risks and you can lose your money. So, you know, it's why you need to know what you're doing. And that's part of what we're presenting on today. Always be careful investing into altcoins as well, because they can lose a lot of value. And that's why you typically only expose a smaller part of your portfolio when you are investing into those. So format for today's session, we're going to do a quick intro. We're going to have a section talking about identifying and avoiding scams. We're going to touch a little bit on the psychology as well, because if you don't really understand the psychology of scammers and kind of how they can manipulate you, it doesn't really matter what kind of examples that I talk you through. They come in all different shapes and sizes. I'm not going to be able to cover everything today, so you'll get scammed if you don't understand the psychological side. So we'll touch a little bit on that. Got a bit of further resources at the end. If there's any pre-registered questions, we'll cover those and we'll do an open Q&A. So as I mentioned, probably going to get through most of it, I reckon, in about half an hour, and then get into the Q&A. So just a little bit about us, guys. Going to be pretty quick. So look, firstly, the biggest technological shift in internet and finance is among us right now. Okay, it's the next evolution in the internet and the finance space. There is literally what I believe, at least, and what many people believe, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to benefit from this shift, which is the greatest transfer of wealth I think the world's ever going to see. I mean, we're talking about technology, financial technology that is going to last forever. So, you know, how are you ever going to see a biggest transfer of wealth than that? So we do believe that anyone can achieve greater financial success by utilizing the digital asset space as a vehicle for building wealth. That's what motivates me. That's what motivates Wasim and the company. So our purpose is to help people break free from what we call the financial matrix, okay, which is the web of control of the centralized financial powers. So our vision is that everyone has independence and control of their money and information and can leverage it to create their own wealth and live life on their terms. So what we do is we teach digital wealth strategies to help individuals and businesses leverage the power of the digital asset space to create and hold profit, passive income, and wealth. Cool. So in terms of psychology, so Wasim, you're on the line. Why don't you chuck your camera on, mate? Because I know you've got a lot of experience in this area, both from a coaching perspective, also from your personal experiences. Maybe you can tell the story about how you got scammed, you know, a couple of years ago, and maybe what's happening recently, and we'll go through all of this. So I'll control this for you. Maybe just let me know when you want me to flick this.
Yeah, just go back one. Yeah, so look, as Michael said, I have been scammed, but I want to give you guys a story, not about me tonight, but about when I was doing a bit of research about scammers and their psychology and what they do. Came across a story of a lawyer and his secretary, and they got scammed $15,000 from Thailand. And the reason, and what happened was, they had a computer problem, and they got a phone call to get help, and then those people overcharged their credit card. Then they refunded the money that they overcharged, or they claimed they refunded, and then they called and said we overcharged, we over refunded, getting unsuspecting people to go back and refund their money. So I wanted to dive a little bit into that and how that actually happened, so you guys can understand that it doesn't matter how smart you are. It's not about intelligence. Scammers, a lot of people think that when you hear about a scam, when you're standing from the outside, you go, well, how could this person do this? And a lot of the times, and the reason why I'm saying this right now is because a lot of the times, the person that's scammed is a victim and doesn't actually understand that what's going on to them. So they have a false hope. So I wanted to go a little bit into that. So Michael, you just want to get to the first point. So first of all, they get unsuspecting people. And one of the things that actually brought this on, I don't know how many of you follow me on Facebook and whatnot, but I had a bit of a challenge with a family member who's actually, he's in a psychosis right now. So I don't want to speak badly about him because he's got mental health issues, but he's had a history of dodgy dealings, and he just started scamming people, and he got really, really bad. And what he used was people's lack of knowledge, the same way that these people scammed the lawyer. And because the lawyers didn't know much about computers, they had a computer problem, so they used that lack of knowledge. A lot of the time, especially in the crypto world, they use a lot of words where the general people do not understand it. Especially I've seen it so many times, and I was even though I was, I'm dealing with this problem with my cousin. This week also I had someone try and invite me to a trading website, and that was a scam. And I did a video about that on my LinkedIn as well as my Facebook. And the first thing that they did was use words like fluidity instead of volatility. These little things that the average person would not even know. So they use the lack of knowledge, and because that person is now looking for a money-making opportunity, that makes them vulnerable. So you've got to understand if you were to think about something, like Michael said in the beginning, do your own research. We have that disclaimer all the time because we want people to go and research what we said. So if you find any discrepancies in what we're saying, you can come back and ask, and we can explain, or maybe we're wrong. But these people won't do that. So always get as much knowledge as you can about whatever it is you're getting yourself into, and make sure that you are really not in a vulnerable state. So you want to go back to the next one, please, Michael. So this one here, with that story I told you guys, what actually happened was they called her after a couple of days, after they overcharged her credit card the first time. They called her and said, look, we overcharged your credit card. We're going to refund the money. Then they called her after a few days and said, hey, we over refunded, which they actually didn't. So one would say, well, how come she didn't check? Why didn't she check before going to refund and send them money overseas? Because she went to the bank a few times and sent them $15,000 over a week, 1 or 2 week period. So one would ask, well, why don't people check once they're in there? And even though sometimes, I'm dealing with people right now who have been scammed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they won't come forward to the police. And some of them have lost their life saving, and they still have this hope, because once the scammer gets you to say yes the first time, and if there's any salespeople on here, one of the sales 101 is keep the customer saying yes. This is really old, sleazy sales. We don't do that anymore. But back when I first got into sales 17 years ago, the idea was get the person to say yes, because once that person commits over and over and over again, it becomes hard for them to say no. And this is what scammers do. They build that trust. They use your lack of knowledge and your vulnerability, your lack of trust, your vulnerability. They get you to commit to something, and they keep you doing it. I know, this person I'm dealing with, the horror stories I've heard where every time people would come and see him, who invited to, he was using religion. He was using religion to scam people. So every time people would see him, like, come, let's go pray. So the more people built that trust and said yes to him, it was hard for them to say no when he presented them with an investment opportunity. So now we'll go to the third step. which is why don't people ask for help? Like I said, with that story I told you guys with that law firm, the reason why that lady kept on going back and didn't ask for help is because when and I see this with exactly with this person I'm talking about. I actually had one person call me up and goes, you know what? It's like, this guy, he's so nice to you before he gets your money. And then as soon as he gets your money, he goes, and he's very, very responsive on the phone. As soon as he gets your money, then what he does is he answers the phone less frequently, makes it harder for you to contact him. And then after the payday is due, then he turns into a smartass. And this is classic scammer behavior, because what they do is they want to lure you in. Think about it. Step one, lack of knowledge, vulnerability. So they lure you in. They're very, very nice. You know, they get you to commit over and over again by taking. Sometimes they'll give you some returns back until you invest a bit more and more and more until they want to get more money out of you. And then when you start asking for your money back, when they stop, then they start to becoming like getting aggressive. Like these guys were getting aggressive on the lady and the lawyer. And this person I'm dealing with, people I'm talking to, whenever they start asking for their money, he gets very aggressive, very angry, derogative, because this is what they do to make people get under stress. And when a person's under stress, psychologists have proven that when you feel intimidated, your rational mind literally goes to sleep. So when these people start putting you under stress and under duress, your rational mind goes to sleep. So it's hard for a person who's in there to actually realize that they are being scammed. And this is like, I spoke to hundreds of people over the past week. I created a group and invited all these people to come in. And I had over 100 people at one stage. I've removed myself from the group now because I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, which is stopping people from investing with this man. But a lot of them won't even ask for help. And even though I've spoken to 20 or 30 or 40 people that have lost their money, we've had maybe 15 come forward. Because the others are still in that distress mode and there's no rational thinking. So, you know, sometimes also shame, embarrassment, guilt, lack of confidence. You know, when people actually get in there, that keeps them even exactly, Alison. And I think you were typing it as I said it. You know, like when a person realizes they're actually being scammed, they actually start to feel dumb. You know, they feel that lack of doubt. They start to doubt themselves. They start to blame themselves. And not only that, scammers actually make them feel worse. Like this particular gentleman I'm talking to you guys about, he sends a message to his so-called investors. And when he hasn't paid, he uses such psychological manipulation to make them feel like it's their fault. It's their fault the money didn't come in. My contact was very upset. He had this elaborate scheme where he's telling people he's got to pay network fees and he's got to pay the network fees up front. And we all know that this is not true. Like I had to go, every time he sent one of those messages for about 2 or 3 days, I had to go into this group and give the people the knowledge that they needed, because I had to educate them that there's no such thing as an upfront network fee. You know, the network fee comes out from the funds that's already in the account. It's, you know, and I had to keep going over because they knew nothing about what we're doing. And then he made them feel guilty for not paying that network fee. So yes, narcissism also 100%. Most of them are very, very, like this guy is so narcissistic. It's not even funny. So look, that's it for me, guys. So the reason why I wanted to present this is because one, we want to guard our, you know, as John, you know, what's his name? Ron, I forget his name now. Standing guard on the door of your mind is by having these tools here. And when you see someone who is in a scam, it's going to take a lot of work to help them sometimes see it. Like my father's been waiting for quite a lot of money of the same guy for quite a while, and he's still hopeful. So that's what I wanted to present to this. And back to you, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's good, mate. And look, before I go through some of the examples, and I do have, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different types of scams you'll see from my on my next slide when I get to it. I'm just going to briefly tell the biggest one that I got done by. And it was quite a while ago for me. It might have been about 15 years ago. It was before I started investing. Still very tech savvy. And I saw an ad on Facebook about foreign exchange trading. And it was about how you can learn and make money. And I heard about all this before. And I thought, yeah, jump into it. So I jumped in, registered, started trading. And then I got contacted by someone from the company. And they're like, oh, I can teach you. I'll teach you, for free as long as you invest in our platform. And I thought, oh, that's a pretty good deal. Like, which other platform am I going to go to? I just saw this on an ad. So we were demo trading for like a few weeks, and it was good. Like, I started to make money, and he was helping me make money. And he's like, okay, let's deposit it in. He helped me start to make money. Now, I still don't know to this day whether it was on like his platform and he was just gaming me, or if it was a legit one and he was just a good trader. I'm not sure. But anyway, he convinced me to put more money in multiple times, because it means I had more margin, which means we could take bigger position sizes and we could make more money. And so by the time I had about 10K in there, then it was up to 15K. And then I thought, oh, this is great. I might have even got up to like 17, 18K. And I thought, wow, how good is this? And I'm feeling great. It's euphoria. Look how smart I am making all this money. And it wasn't until I started to try and take money out. And this is what usually gives it away, guys, is when you're in one of those, and we'll talk about it. It's typically like a Ponzi scheme, and you go to try and take money out, and you can't, it's not automatic. And then it emails them, and then you got to wait, and then you wait, and they start stalling. And that's a red flag straight up if you can't get your money out quickly. And in the end, he just stopped responding to me, and he went completely offline, didn't respond to anything. Eventually the website went down, and then the sinking feeling that I got, and like Alison said, the shame and the embarrassment, here I was, an entrepreneur, a tech savvy person. I just got scammed out of $10,000, and he absolutely played me to the nth degree. And it was shame. And the only thing that saved me was I went through the fraud process with the bank, and it took months. It took like 3 or 4 months, but I kept on harassing, because $10,000 for me back then in building a startup was a lot of money. And in the end, I was very lucky. I managed to get it back through the fraud system. They must have reversed the credit card transactions, and I don't ever know what happened to that guy, but I was just so thankful I got my money back. But when I looked back and looked back at all the remnants of it, there were signs the whole way, about, him influencing me to put money in. I saw the company was registered in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is in the Caribbean, I think. There was a whole bunch of these different things. And I'm going to go through some examples today to show you. Now, we're not going to cover everything because, keep on it with the bank. Here's the thing, though, Alison, in crypto, there is no bank. You are your own bank. So this is why this stuff is so important to raise awareness now, because if I had to send that money to him, via Bitcoin or whatever, that's it. Never going to get that back. Okay. So this stuff's even more important now than it ever has been. Okay. And crypto is not the problem here. It's a lack of education. And yes, there are scammers, but there'll always be scammers. The only way you can defend yourself is to be educated. So I'm going to briefly go through a bunch of these examples. I'm going to just a couple sentences on each. And if I have an example, like I've got a few tabs up of different websites and stuff that I want to run you through, which I think will be super, super valuable. So you got phishing scams, you got malicious wallets, blackmail scams, malware, also meet in person scams, Ponzi scams, which is a hugely popular one, giveaway scams, imitation scams. These are like the best ones. They're getting really, really good these days. And I'll give you a couple examples. Fake exchanges, ICO exit scams, and rug pulls, which are very, very difficult to pick. So let's go through them. I know there's a lot there, but let's just jump through them one by one. So phishing scams is really, the goal is to get you to provide your information so that a hacker can use that to access your crypto or any other solution. So typically this is like emails, fake websites, Google AdWords, things like that. So you often maybe get an email and it looks like it's like from the bank, Westpac. Oh, I had one of these recently, but I couldn't find it. I must have deleted it. Well, obviously deleted it, but I couldn't dig it back up. And, it looks legitimate and you click on it. One really important thing to look out for is the URL in the link. And I might have an example just of that. So just let me pull one up. Okay, hang on, let me just sort that out, get my tab sorted. So, yes, okay, so let's get this sharing again. Can you see my screen up? Just chuck me a yes, make sure it's sharing the right one. Oh, no, not yet, try now. Are you seeing the Mel Gibson picture on the screen here now? Chuck me a yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is one that I'm going to come back to later. Like this will be is that a yes? Someone just chuck me a yes.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Thanks, guys. Last time I was presenting for 5 minutes, not showing my screen. So up here, so this one here, look, have a look at this website, local-au.com, right? For me, that's a suspicious website. Like, what the hell is local-au? That's dodgy, right? Now, you don't, if the stuff after here, you can't really read much into this because some websites have this. This is called a query string, but it's the URL that usually gives it away. And I'm going to come back to this one because this is actually one of the really good ones that lots of people get done by. Phishing scam. So yeah, this is basically, they trick you into thinking you're inputting into a legitimate website. Always check the URL. Some of them are getting so good these days that it's very hard to tell. You can look at kind of in your email. I don't have an example up, but you can look at the headers kind of at the top and see who the email's from and things like that. But definitely, usually if you click the link, you're okay. But if you then action whatever's on the page, then they'll get you. Telegram, yeah. So I do have one up here. I'm just going to find it over here for you. So this is the start of one, right? Just tell me if you can see my my Telegram window up here. Make sure I'm sharing my screen and not a window. Can everyone see? Yeah, cool. So this is how it starts right now. If you're using Telegram, I'm going to show you a couple examples in Discord. Anytime anyone sends you a direct message, you should be suspicious. In fact, you should never action any direct message unless you 100% know who that person is on these platforms. Okay, Facebook's not as bad, but Telegram and particularly Discord, you're going to get done. So this is the start of one, right? So I must have put a message on a channel to say, oh, I need help with something. This guy messaged me from customer services. Hello, mate, do you need help? Do you contact customer service for help? That is the start of someone trying to scam me. Okay, 100% guarantee it. I don't even need to look into it any further. That's going to be the start. He'll try and build some rapport. He'll try and get me to, give him my private key to my wallet or expose some access. Now, I've actually gone along with some of these before just to screw with them, or at least see how far we could go before they try to pull it on me. And they can be quite good. They can be very, 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 very persuading. Okay, malicious wallet. So this is usually like they'll use a phishing technique, and it's like, oh, you need to download and install this file. Anytime anything's asking you to download and install a file, that's when you've got to be straight away suspicious. Unless you've actioned it, if it's something in an email or someone's prompted you to do that, straight away you need to be suspicious. And absolutely never ever enter your private key for any of your crypto wallets into any of these websites. Like, you shouldn't be entering your private key into anything, but if you are, you need to 100% know that that's a legitimate platform. When in doubt, don't do it. Use all the official wallets. Double, triple check URLs. So when I say official wallets, like if you're going to buy a hardware wallet, like one of these, like a Ledger Nano S or a Nano X, right? One of these, always buy these from the legitimate website, right? Don't matter if you're going to save 10 or 20 bucks on eBay. Never do it, because someone could embed some malware into this. And as soon as you hook it up and start dumping your crypto in there, they could steal it out. So any type of keys, any type of wallets, always use the legitimate website. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Blackmail scams. So these ones are pretty big and pretty persuading as well, where they'll try and blackmail, and strangers particularly are going to try and blackmail them, and they'll usually threaten you as a means of extortion. So this is where they can get quite aggressive, and like Wasim said before, they can really intimidate you, and then all of your, I don't know if it's your frontal lobe or whatever, just switches off and you just can't think, and so they'll try and put you in a heightened emotional state to try and nullify that part of your brain. Typically emails used and where they'll send a message, and this comes in various shapes and sizes. But this one, sometimes they'll try and, say that they've created an RDP connection on your computer and they've got access. And, if you don't do what they say, they're going to steal your crypto or whatever else. So, yeah, any emails that kind of say you've been hacked, don't believe anything like that. Because if you have been hacked, you're not going to get an email to say you've been hacked. If you've been hacked, they're gonna take advantage of you without you knowing. So yeah, usually they will send this to millions of people, and it comes from stolen information. So sometimes websites get a privacy breach, they leak all the emails. I've had some of my emails leaked to some of these, and I've had some of these phishing and maybe not blackmail scams, particularly phishing ones, where they try to get you to click on links and things like that. Malware. So this is basically when an application is installed. They can do things like alter your addresses when you're copying and pasting. So all the Bitcoin gets directly sent to them. So typically you do need to run and install something on your computer for this to happen. So if you follow the previous example of not downloading and installing something that looked like it might be someone that you don't trust, a website you don't trust, then you should be fine with this. Obviously having antivirus software on your computer and making sure that's auto updated is quite important to this as well. And yeah, as I mentioned before, if you do get caught by one of these, as soon as you send your Bitcoin or any other crypto, there is basically no chance of getting that back. So chalk it down to a lesson if you do get caught by one of these. And yeah, don't run applications that people send to you, as I mentioned. Meeting person scam. So this is basically if you're buying or selling Bitcoin and someone wants to meet with you personally and do the trade. Look, unless you know them, definitely proceed with caution, especially if it's a large amount of money. Very risky because, you know, you could get robbed or injured. Now this, I don't think this happens as much these days, with lots of stories of this back in the day when the only way you could buy a Bitcoin is to actually meet up with someone and exchange cash and then, you know, give them your wallet address on a piece of paper and they would send it to you and things like that. So doesn't happen as much these days. Obviously, if you're in lockdown with COVID, you can't get caught by them anyway, but something to keep in mind. Fake exchanges. So this is where basically it looks like an exchange, legitimate exchange. You sign up for an account. They usually lure you in through very low prices or low fees or something like that. And basically, as soon as you deposit into these, they'll let you, you know, trade and buy things. But it's when you go to withdraw, that's when you have delays, or they say they can't withdraw and things like that. That's when straight away there's yellow flags. So definitely, when you're the safest way, if you are using exchanges that aren't kind of the popular ones, Binance and Coinbase and Kraken and KuCoin and all of those, you want to make sure that, excuse me, go to coinmarketcap.com, click on exchanges, and make sure it's usually top 20 at the least, top 20 exchange here, and then you'll have a pretty good green score here in terms of if it's trusted or not. So 20 is all the way down to, you know, Poloniex, Bittrex, and Liquid. I've got accounts on all of those. Crypto.com, they're all legit. Bybit's a trading platform, that's legit. Huobi's trusted. So some of these are still okay, but starts to get a bit sketchy. You can see straight away the ratings go low and things like that. So just make sure you're in the top 20 if you're using any exchanges. ICO or exit scan Rugpull. So what's an ICO? ICO is known as an initial coin offering. It's like in the stock market, you've got when a company floats, that's initial was an IPO. This ICO is very similar. It's a new project listing on, and then you're basically getting tokens. So it's very, very risky, especially if you don't know the project, or, you know, if you research the team, and especially if it's an anonymous team, you're taking risks with that, because then as soon as you buy in, they can basically just run off with the money. And Rugpull is very similar, where it's kind of a new project. You buy the token or you provide liquidity, and then they basically just sell it from underneath you, and off you go. That's why it's called a Rugpull, right? So initial coin offerings definitely are common for scamming. Now there's not as many initial coin offerings these days. They're usually done through exchanges, like initial exchange offerings, or through decentralized exchanges, initial DEX offerings known as IDOs. But you can still get susceptible to these. So they'll definitely put on a really good facade that they look legitimate and all the rest of it. You buy into the coins, they make sure lots of people buy in, and then all of a sudden it's gone. So I think I may have been caught on one of these maybe in the last year, but back in the day, a lot of the ICOs in 2017, there was definitely a heap of those that would have been scams, and I invested into a bunch of those, probably 100 of those, and I had 10 or 11 do really well. That's where I built a lot of my digital wealth, buying and holding good projects. But a lot of those were probably scams when I look back now. So it's very hard to kind of avoid these. But if you see anything that's like get rich quick or anything like that, then it's straight away going to be warning bells. Very hard to recognize rug pulls. Like, we actually have a process where we look to the on-chain data, we look at the liquidity pools, we look at the smart contracts, we look at how much people own in them. It's actually quite technical. So anything that looks suspicious now, I put it through our research team. They go and do what we've labeled a legit test. And then we make an assessment on that, whether we think it's viable to actually offer to our members, or even just invest ourselves. So very important really to have a support from a community to assist with this. Otherwise, it's very, very hard to tell. Ponzi schemes, this has got to be the most common one. This has been around for ages. This is not a crypto specific one. basically what it is, it's always multi-level. Like you can see this diagram here on the right-hand side. And it's always the new money that's coming in is basically used to pay the people up the chain. And it's always the people at the top and the people that got in the earliest that will benefit. And sometimes they're able to make some money and take some money out of this machine before it collapses. But otherwise, if you're in the middle, then you get caught with, you've got money in there, but you won't be able to get it out. Because as soon as you start to try and get it out, there's not enough money coming through from the new investors to be able to fuel everyone else. It's the ultimate multi-level marketing scheme. So they have a variety of front type businesses to justify their returns. Examples, typically crypto lending platforms, cloud mining, investment schemes, automatic trading bots, all of this stuff, anything, this is the key thing, guys, anything that promises you a guaranteed investment is probably, I reckon, 99% a scam. Right now, we've created a lot of wealth for our members. I've created a lot of wealth for myself and for other people around me, but never, ever do I ever promise I can make any returns because it's completely hinged on the market and it's risky and you might lose your money and the market might crash when you've entered. They're the risks you take when you invest, particularly in the volatility of crypto. So anytime you see guaranteed returns, that is straight away, if not a red flag, it's definitely an orange flag and you should look for more. I'm going to go through a brief example on this. Just chuck me a yes if you're finding the examples useful because it takes me a little bit more time to go through them. But I thought maybe it might be useful to give you guys some real world examples. Or at least give me a yes. Unmute me and give me a yes. Or give me a no.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. All right, let's go have a look. Now, CashFX, I'm going to tell you the story on this one, brief one. This was someone that came to us recently, potentially to leverage some of our services. And she said she was already invested in crypto. And she's like, I've invested in, Alison, crap, I have money in CashFX. I'm not 100% on this, but I'm probably 99%. So my biggest recommendation, as I said to the person on the line when we had the discussion with her, is just don't put any more money in, number one. Number two, and this will probably tell the story for you, try and get your money, try and get your risk capital out. So maybe you've put in $5,000 and you've recruited a few people and you're up to 10 grand, 15 grand, try and get your $5,000 out. If you get your $5,000 out, fantastic, go for gold. You're riding purely on profit. If you can't get your $5,000 out because they start making excuses, then that will actually tell you, that'll tell you by yourself, right? And I'm going to teach you how within 5 minutes, I made an assessment. This was 99% a scam. We're on the line with her. And I did a few Google searches, which I'm going to show you and identify quite quickly. But straight away, I'll tell you a couple of warning signs. Look, it's very slick. And it's very high level stuff. And I thought at the moment, it looks pretty slick. I'm not noticing too much here, right? Foreign exchange, like there are a lot of foreign exchange trading things out there, platforms and all the rest of it, okay? As soon as I saw this, fund your foreign exchange website with Bitcoin. That is an orange flag. It's not a red flag. It doesn't guarantee it's a scam. But as soon as I see that, especially when it's something that is not really related to crypto, like foreign exchange. Crypto is a cryptocurrency, it's a currency, it's a digital currency, but it's not what you call foreign exchange trading. Okay, it's just not. Now I know that because I have done. I'll answer that in a sec. I've done forex. I've traded all sorts of instruments, and foreign exchange is typically, you're trading between the Australian dollar and US dollar and all that kind of stuff. Funding. Okay, so why do scammers like to have their platforms funded through Bitcoin? Because you can't reverse it. Now, like I said, this doesn't guarantee it's a scam. Okay, this was just an orange flag for me where I went, okay, straight away they're asking to fund through Bitcoin. That I'm suspicious. Okay, testimonial, Nigeria. Now, this, I'm not being discriminatory here, but when you're having South African countries and also the Dominican Republic and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there's just a massive lack of regulation. It's got nothing to do with who they are, or what country they are, or their gender, or their nationality, or whatever. It's the regulation. It's just how loose a lot of that is in that country, right? So that I kind of went, yeah, okay, that's not great. But then I started looking a little bit deeper. Now, there's only so much you can tell from the website, which is why I'm going to show you what the Google searches that I did very quickly. Another Nigerian testimonial down here somewhere. Okay, straight away, this Panama City, Panama, orange flag. Okay, orange flag. Yeah, registration. What kind of registration is that? You know, do you even know that's legit? Are these even their offices? So this is where I'm starting going, okay, this is orange flags for me. It's not a red flag yet, okay? Whenever you suspect, well, you might not even suspect, but before you invest into anything, then you should always do a search and find out what's out there. This is what I typed. Cash FX, is it a scam, okay? Boom, brutal scam, okay? Reviews. I'm going to go and have a look at a couple of those. Let's have a look at this, scam legit. This is not telling me it's a scam. This is telling me that, oh, okay, some other people are a little bit concerned. Okay, is it a scam? Scams. Now it's like, if you start seeing Cash FX and scam on every single entry on a page, that's starting to become very, very much stronger for me, okay? What I did is I quickly went through all the 5 stars and just had a look at and some of the longer ones I was kind of skipping past, and I was like, okay, fully happy, convinced. Start with 300 paid. Okay, a few weeks ago, bang, they're only in for a few weeks. There's no way to tell you're getting scammed if you're in a Ponzi for a few weeks. It's going to take 3 months, 6 months, 12 months until you start taking your money out, until you've recruited people. So I'm looking for people that have been in there for a long period of time and tried to get their money out, right? So I went through all of these and tried to find people that's like, yep, I've 5x'd my initial capital. I've taken my money out. I'm rich. I couldn't find any of the 5 stars. Next thing I do, you always look at 1 stars and 5 stars. I do it with book reviews. I do it with platforms. I do it with everything. Because why? Because when you go to 5 stars and 1 star, what do? You get emotion. You get passion. You get people that are passionate one way or the other. And when people are passionate, they're more likely to express how they really feel. Okay, this is psychology. This is emotional psychology stuff, right? So I always go to 5s and 1s no matter what I'm doing, whether it's to buy a new book or whatever. Okay, so then I started looking through these. There were a lot of red flags. I never paid attention until I got screwed. Okay, that's not a lot of detail. This could have just been someone trying to badmouth them. Scam, I emailed them for 4 months straight trying to get access to my account because I have a new phone. No help either. Okay, well, he lost access to his account, blah, blah, blah. Fair enough. Deposited 30,000. Full amount wasn't returned to me, my bank, even after verification. Yeah, not sure. Clearly a pyramid scheme selling learning packages. Still awaiting a payout withdrawal since early July. This is in September. That's 3 months. CFX applied my emails for the payout 7 working days and up to 4 weeks. Okay, now this was guaranteed it for me. Okay, this person hasn't been paid in 3 months and up to 4 weeks due to Bitcoin vulnerability. What does a foreign exchange trading platform have to do with paying out people due to Bitcoin vulnerability? All right, they're leveraging money to try and make more money at best, and at worst, it's a full-on Ponzi scheme, which they're not even trying to leverage your money to earn money. Okay. Financial Conduct Authority of UK has issued official warning about these guys. Absolute fraud company. Greatest fraud ever. Stop paying me out. I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. Like, do you think this is the same type? You think this is everyone trying to badmouth this company for no reason? Look at this. Look how many 1-star reviews there are, right? So that's it for me. I'm not going anywhere near this, right? But it goes further, right? There's people that does reviews, and this is the benefit of leveraging other people's research. So I'll do a little bit of my own to look for orange flags, and straight away I'm Googling and I'm leveraging all the time and effort that other people have been put in, probably because they've been screwed, right? And if you read this one here, it's phenomenal. I went onto YouTube and I Googled the same thing on searched the same thing on YouTube, and I watched the video, and he started off, first couple of minutes was trying to be objective, and by the end of it, and he went through all this stuff, it's plain and obvious, absolutely plain and obvious. So yes, so look, I'm going to come back to this at the end because I've spent a fair bit of time on this, and I've spent a little bit more time because Alison, you said you have money in there, and the person that we spoke to about this, I pleaded with her from my heart because her daughter-in-law had put $15,000 in, all this kind of stuff, and I said, just please don't put any more money in. and don't recruit anymore else. Just play with what you have in there. Try and get your risk capital out. If you can, great, go for gold. If you can't, that's your warning sign. I sent her a couple of links and I asked her to review it, and I asked her to come to our webinar so that we could actually teach her legitimately how to take ownership over your own investment and to actually create your own wealth. And she didn't show up. I followed her up afterwards, and she basically got really defensive and said, leave me alone. This is our family investment. It's a legitimate company. It's not a scam, and do not contact me again. And that's the fear. That's the shame. That's the, of being uncovered and losing the money. People would rather turn their head and put their head in the sand than actually face up to the fact that they might be getting screwed. And it broke my heart. And it still breaks my heart when I talk about it, because I know the feeling that's on the other side of that. And I'm not laughing. It's horrible. Like it brings back those feelings every time. When you've sent money to someone and you know that you just got screwed, it's the worst feeling. It's one of the worst. It's in line with some of my worst breakups, like literally like hardcore heart pain. I'll come back and answer any questions on that. I'm just going to skip through the rest of the guys because I do have a couple more examples. Giveaway scams. Okay. This is when someone attempts to trick you into sending them money because, well, either they'll multiply it, return it to you, you just won something, and it's like, great, send me this or send me some funds and I'll return you 5 times as much or whatever, or enter your email address, or, they'll try and phish your details, something like that. So yeah, promotions often framed as giveaways, and often as an influencer or a famous person as well. And they'll use popular social media platforms. There's a lot on YouTube as well. They'll often do it as live streams. These guys are getting really good. And also purchasing ad space. There was a lot of giveaway scams on YouTube where old videos of Charles Hoskinson or Vitalik Buterin were used to trick unsuspecting viewers. They're big names in the crypto industry. Now, in terms of an example for this, I'm just going to jump into Discord. Or do I have? Yeah, I'll give you a brief example. Actually, I think I couldn't find a legit one on this. I found a giveaway thing on one of my Discord channels, but it looked like it wasn't a scam. So no, I don't have an example on that one. But if you see someone like, oh, you've just won something or whatever, straight away you should be skeptical, okay? Because what did you enter to win? Did you enter a contest? Did you actually initiate anything? If it came out of nowhere, most of the time it's going to be a scam. Imitation scams. These are the most powerful ones out there. So they're set up to imitate another person or another platform to trick you into thinking they're legitimate and you can trust them. These are getting very good, even to the point where they can catch out experienced investors. I nearly got done by one of these literally in the last few days. All right, and I'm going to show you the example of it. Okay, first I'm going to go back to this Mel Gibson one, because these ones have caught a lot of people. Now, if I didn't tell you about looking at the URL and you read this, Mel Gibson's latest investment, experts in awe and big banks terrified. You got Walid from the project. You've got all these testimonials. You got here all of these transactions. You got more social proof. This is social proof, right, that they're using here. They're using all the tricks, all the manipulation tactics. Here's an example. Another step-by-step instructions on how to create your account, how to deposit your money. Okay, you notice you can deposit Bitcoin, of course, because credit cards can be reversed. Bitcoin can't. Any scam that doesn't accept Bitcoin is actually good for me. I'm like, okay, well, hang on a minute. If they don't accept Bitcoin, maybe they're not a scam. So that's the way I look at it now. Now down here, this is brilliant. I mean, look at this, all these comments. 12 minutes ago, I've been training and the way these things work, it doesn't matter when you visit the site, there's always a countdown timer, or there's always comments that were made recently. I know this is really, really hard to pick. So many people get caught out by this because it looks legitimate. I've even kind of skimmed through some of these and went, wow, yeah, like that's cool. Like they had the digital yuan being released and I went, oh, great. How do we buy that? But straight away, when you see celebrities and things like that, you need to be skeptical straight away. I'm going to show you the one that I nearly got done by. Like I was one click away from, I could have actually lost my whole wallet. I could have lost about 10 grand. I don't know how much they would have taken, but I was literally about to click it was only like to buy $300 NFT. So this is Discord now, and Discord is super confusing because you've got all these channels here and you've got people messaging you. But if you want to buy any NFTs or if you want to join any of these crypto projects and engage in the community, often you're coming on Discord. And again, anyone that messages you directly, you should be skeptical about. But I want to show you this one. So the NFT that I wanted to buy, or I joined the group, they're called snakes, like snakes. Okay, this was on the Solana blockchain. And as soon as I joined the channel, I didn't realize it, but I've got this message that's in front of you right now. And it says Snacks Notify Bot. We're happy to announce the launch of the Snacks Mint. We've minted 10,000 pieces. Sale is live. Click this link. Looks like a legitimate link. Can't wait to welcome you. This all looks legit. Like if anyone who's looked at any NFTs, all looks legit, right? You open up the website and you get this. Okay, now look, in remaining amount, 272 out of 10,000. So this is like a countdown timer. It's like out of the 10,000 that are available, they're nearly sold out. But if I refresh this, now it might stay. Yeah, okay. So it's actually, this is very clever because this looks like a legitimate website. Let me show you the legitimate website. It has changed a little bit since because they've changed the drop, but look how similar those are. This is the scam. This is a legitimate one, right? How good is it? And with this, you connect your wallet. I connected my Solana wallet. I'm not going to do it now. And I basically went and I literally was about to click go. And I don't know what stopped me, but I went, okay, well, hang on a minute. Like, is it actually minting now? Now the sale, as I went and looked into the channel, the sale wasn't on for another 8 hours, right? So I went, holy shit, what is this then? What is this? And what is this message? And I was this close to probably losing the whole $10,000 I had in that wallet. And that's how good it is. You know, that's how good it is. But how could you have picked this? You could have picked this because, well, look, it is difficult, but this was a direct message. This was a direct message from Snacks Notify Bot. It wasn't from the Snacks channel. This is a channel. This is what a channel looks like. It was actually directly from a direct conversation. Now, there's another example, and this is a very experienced trader who actually got scammed by one on Discord not too long ago, like literally a couple of days ago. And it was this one here. Seven's another NFT drop, and it takes you through it. It talks about, you know, how much you're going to get, exchange rate. This looks legit to me. Like when I look at it, it all looks like it's legitimate. And he sent money to this address, and it was a scam. So I think it was only $350, but it was a scam. Now, how could you avoid it? It was a direct message. So this is the thing, any direct messages on any of these platforms, the best thing to do, unless you know that person, is immediately just close it, archive it, don't even take notice of it, okay? So you do need to learn how to spot a direct message against a channel, but it is very easy. Direct messages show up at the top, and when you click on them, you basically can see, you can tell because there's no channels, there's no like channels on the left. See on the left here, you've got all these different, these are like channels inside the server. If you're on a direct message, you won't get that. Hopefully this is making sense. Bots, yeah, bots will direct message you, and that's a tricky one too, because sometimes you go onto these channels and they ask you to verify, and the bot will send you a message, but usually you initiate it from within the channel. Usually you'll go into the channel, you'll do like /verify or something like that, and then the bot messages you. If you get any direct messages from a bot without actually starting something first, it's probably going to be a scam. So a lot of the people that legitimately set up these servers to promote their projects and to grow a community, they know. All the people in the know about this stuff. So you'll never get anyone private messaging you. They'll never private message you. They'll never ask you to send them crypto. None of that. But if you're new to it and you don't understand what we're teaching you today, it's very easy to fall prey to this stuff. Okay, nearly done, guys. That was Imitation Scam. Yeah, I went through the 3 examples. So pretty much just done here. So I'll open up the question soon. So here's a few other tips to avoid scams. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So that goes back to when I said, if there's any guaranteed returns, it's probably a scam. Okay, straight off. I think when I was reading into CashFX as well, they were guaranteeing like 10% a week or something like that. Like, that's ridiculous, guys. Like 10% a week is like, you know, 45% a month. If you compound that over time, it's massive. And that's how they get you in. But there's nothing that earns 10% a week. You know, it's just not. You just can't get that. In a bull run in crypto, you can do something like that for a small period of time, but you know, it takes very specialist skills to do that. And you know, if if they could do that, why would they need your money to do that? You know, that's the other thing, right? Okay, don't be afraid to ask questions. So ask whoever you're talking to, ask questions, because if you become too much of a hard work, then they might start to back away and go and prey on someone that's a bit easier. Don't rush into things. Always do your own research. I nearly rushed into that NFT. That's the other thing. They'll create scarcity, usually in time, to make you rush your decision, because when you rush, you get elevated emotions. When you get elevated emotions, your frontal lobe turns off and you start to lose all your rationality, right? So that's one of the tricks they'll get you to do. Review your URLs, like your links as well, as I mentioned, and look for anything that looks suspicious in the URL. If you're following someone on social media, make sure they're the real person. Look for verified checks like Twitter. Never give out your passwords and your cryptocurrency private keys to anyone. Like not even us will never ask you for private keys. Some of our services ask for API keys. That just gives us access to access your account to execute trades potentially, but never will we ask for access to withdraw or deposit any funds, and never will we ask you to send crypto directly to us, and never will we ask you for your private keys. Okay. Community, very important to surround yourself with people that can help you. You know, we talked about how people don't ask for help, but the people often don't ask for help once they're caught in the scam. Okay, before you've actually made the investment, that's the time to ask for help. Have a community. We've got a Telegram channel. You message the channel and you say, guys, look, is this legit? What do you guys think? Right? I guarantee you'll get a response from myself or my team to at least respond and say a quick check. I'll usually do a quick check and say, oh, look, it's okay. Or maybe it looks a little bit suspicious, needs more investigation or whatever. So speaking of which, community, if you haven't already, we have our own community. It's called the Digital Wealth Collective. Okay, we're looking to build a collective of people to grow our digital wealth together. That is the vision of this membership, of this community. There is a free level and there's loads of value on that. We've got previous Q&As. I've given away a DeFi gem pick on there. We've got an expert presentation from a crypto tax accountant. I've given away bonuses on there. Just go to the website. You'll see what you're getting there for free. We do have an upcoming webinar in just under 2 weeks called Discover the Only Asset Class that Protects Your Wealth and Your Freedom Through Any Macro Environment. Anyone who's attended a previous one, it's pretty much the same one, so you don't need to reattend. But anyone who hasn't attended, if you're curious about learning more about cryptocurrency and more about the opportunity, and really to start your journey around creating digital wealth the right way, okay, when I say the right way, there are many ways to do it, but I know the way that I am cultivating with our team is a good way, is a great way. And I know you're going to be looked after when you come along the journey with us. With everyone else, I can't guarantee, because I don't know what they're looking to get out of it. So that's breakoutnow.co/discover. Our website's breakoutsolutions.com. Crypto Telegram group. So this is kind of our free Telegram group. There's a really good crypto community there. Breakoutnow.co/cryptoverse. Join that group as well. I recommend it's free. Join that group and join the Digital Wealth Collective, and you're going to get the best of all the content that we do give away. There's a YouTube channel that we're slowly growing. I did a video on a market update on Sunday about how there was a correction coming in the Bitcoin price. If you have a look at some of the comments, I actually copped a lot of stick for it, suggesting that there was going to be a correction back down to around 38 to 42K. Literally within about 18 hours, we saw a flash crash in Bitcoin. Now, look, am I going to say I was right and I predicted it? I'm not going to, but I saw the probabilities of that happening due to a lot of different things that we look at. I spotted a fractal playing out, and we were actually able to cash out on a bunch of profits for our members, because we do run a managed service there, and a lot of our members did cash out on some of their profits, and now we're buying in at a cheaper price. Okay, so that was something that I posted up on YouTube. That's something that we link to these channels as well. Okay, so check that out. That might be it, is it, on this? Just going to jump out of that. Yep, that's it for that. Okay, so I realize I've actually just used up all the time, so I'm going to start going through the questions now, guys, and answer these for you. So Dave, yep, did someone?
I tried to add,
Yep.
There's a new type of scams also going on around on YouTube, where they hack into different influencers or accounts that have a lot of followers, and then they start giving away things. So they start doing that. So also be careful, because I know Michael said they've got a lot of followers, but that's something that's been happening quite a bit on YouTube with crypto also. So be careful if it's different, if the content isn't different, if you come across a new YouTuber, even if they've got a lot of people, look a little bit into their content. If that latest video you saw is not congruent with what they're doing, then that could possibly be happening to them. So that's something that I've also been noticing happening on YouTube.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, dude. Okay, just going through the questions now. So Dave went to Bilaxi.com the other day to get a CSV of transactions from the website, and their website is shut down due to being hacked in the order of 295 ERC20 tokens. I don't have any funds in there, but it's definitely a platform considered safe. I think Bilaxi was in the top 20. Look, you can have legitimate hacks on these platforms. Like, it can definitely happen. Whether that was an inside job or not, I don't know. I actually think I did have some tokens on Bilaxi, but it wouldn't have been more than $500 because sometimes it's like costs a lot of money to get those off. So if it's something small, I will leave it on there, because especially if I got some orders. So, is there a chance that's going to come back up? Probably not. So anyone who had their crypto on there, it's probably lost. I have lost funds on exchanges getting hacked before. I lost a couple grand back in 2018. So that is the risk leaving on exchanges. But if you stick to the big ones, they're pretty solid. They've got massive security budgets. They make a lot of money. Like Binance turns over $1 billion a year or something crazy like that. I don't even know. I don't know if it's $1 billion profit or $1 billion turnover. Was that you, Wasim, telling me about Binance? About $1 billion. I don't know if it was revenue or profit, but
I don't remember.
Someone was telling me about it, but it might have been Phil. Something crazy. Like, they make a lot of money. So their reputation is everything. So if they get hacked, they're going to do everything in their power to repay that, because otherwise they lose their massive amount of profits. But once you get outside the top 10 exchanges, they're not making as much money, and therefore it's a bit harder for them to recover from this stuff. Just type Bilaxi Trustpilot into Google and got a lot of 1 stars. So does Binance. Yeah, look, 1 stars, you need to, just because they're 1 stars doesn't mean it's a scam or whatever. You need to read into those 1 stars, because there's a lot of, I don't know, uneducated people or people that jump to conclusions that are around on the internet. You only got to read YouTube comments and Twitter comments and stuff like that to see that, there's not a lot of thought that goes into some of this stuff. So you got to go into them a little bit more detail to see what those are. Not sure about Bilaxi. I did notice that as well. And I went, oh, well, there goes, the $500 I had on the exchange or whatever. I mean, there was a legitimate exchange back in 2017 called Cryptopia. It was New Zealand's exchange. I had $2,000 or $3,000 on there now, probably be worth 20,000. They got legitimately hacked. They were a legitimate operation. They got hacked and they couldn't recover from that. And they're still trying to recover. There's actually, it's under administration. They're still trying to recover the funds. So they actually open up the platform again to try and allow people to get their funds back, or some of them, and then they got hacked again. So I don't know what's going on there, but I've written that money off. I've received the Mel Gibson one numerous times in different ways, mainly on Facebook. Yeah, unfortunately, that's going around, and they've done really well out of that, and they'll continue to do well, because of the lack of education. Bots messages look different. Yeah, cool. LOL, just got a scam email during this session. Income up to 50,000 euro per day. Is it 50,000 or 500,000, Dave? Because you got 500,000 with the comma after the 50. But yeah, I mean, come on, like 50,000 euros a day. Like, do you have to deposit 3 million to do that? Like, how much? What's the deposit? Like, there's a way to be smart about trying to scam someone, and trying to guarantee 50,000 euros a day is probably not the way to do it. So that's actually the end of the questions, guys. So I'm happy to take any more. Hopefully that's been valuable. Like, I wouldn't mind if you want to chuck some feedback into the chat if you've learned something today and it's opened your eyes a little bit to some of the things that you might get exposed to on the internet in your investing journey. And look, like I said, I nearly got caught by one literally the other day, and here I am teaching it. So now, it wasn't about 5:30 a.m. I got up early to do the NFT drop, and then it was taking a bit of time. They delayed it for an hour, and then I was kind of looking. I saw that, and I went, "Oh, well, that must be it then," And so I was a bit tired. I wasn't, alert, but still, the signs were there. It was a direct message. So even knowledgeable, experienced investors can get caught out. That's why you need to probably default to being skeptic about anything that anyone that approaches you or asks you to send anything. straight away got to be skeptical. And if you take that stance as a default and you jump into Google and you do a search, and look, I'll give you an example because I did this before as well, right? So we've had some people look at our Facebook ads and go, oh, that's a scam, right? I completely understand because we're talking about building digital wealth. We're talking about investing into crypto. We're talking about come on the journey with us, all the rest of it. So I get it, right? But, go and Google us. Breakout Solutions. Is it a scam, right? Breakout 2.0 code, Breakout Reloaded, Breakout Code Review, Breakout Acne Treatments, Breakout Solutions Post. That's us. Sydney Breakout Solutions. And the grenadines or crypto addresses is immediate red flag for a scam. I actually went in here to try and find that post, but I couldn't. But that's probably me talking about red flags for scams. So that's why that showed up. Dermatologist, Breakout Challenge is a scam, something else. So do you notice straight away, the only thing that was related to Breakout Solutions was this, and it's basically me talking about how it's a red flag for a scam. Now, you could go into YouTube and do it, but there won't be anything in there either. Now, granted, we're not a multi-million-dollar company and all the rest of it, but this is the process that you go through to try and identify whether something might be a scam or not. So Bihar, yeah, Economy has a lot of security implementations in there. They've got all types of vaults, multi-sig vaults. Yeah, there's a fair bit of stuff on there. I mean, I've done a decent level of research on that. I also know people that are managing literally millions of dollars through Economy. They've been around since 2017. They've got a legitimate team. They've got Ask Me Anythings. They're engaged with the community. There's, they're public there. So yeah, if you look into it a little bit further, there's a lot of the green flags. I'll say you look for green flags and you look for orange and red flags. Now, does it mean that they can't get hacked? No, of course it doesn't. It doesn't mean that they can't get hacked. Do they have massive security? Do they have a massive insurance budget to pay out? There isn't a lot of information on that. So, that is a bit of a risk. But, it is a balance you take. It's a balance you take, security versus convenience. It's a platform that we've chosen to use because it means that we can help everyone at once. We can take advantage of market opportunities. There's a whole bunch of different pros for me that outweigh the cons. From Rob, very helpful indeed. Who can I contact, Michael, to discuss a bank recall problem? Oh dear, bank recall problem. You'd have to provide a little bit more details on that, mate, because I'm not sure what you mean by bank recall problem. And yeah, so what you can probably do, why don't you look, I'm happy to do a phone call with you, mate, and just hear what your challenge is there. So send me an email. I'll put my address here. Drop me an email if you can maybe give me a little bit more information as well. Yeah, just do me a favor, shoot, because this chat will get lost, and I'm gonna cancel, hang up shortly. Pop me an email, michael@breakoutsolutions.com. Chuck your mobile number in there. Just give me a little bit more information, so maybe I can do a bit of research or something, get my head around it before I give you a buzz. Cool. Ed, last chance to answer any questions, everyone.
No, thanks. Thanks, Michael. Wasim, that was awesome.
Great. Thanks, Alison. Thanks for the feedback. All right, guys, brilliant. We will wrap up. Again, if you did want to go to any of these, so this is the free. I might just paste these here for you. So the Digital Wealth Collective here. This is the webinar, so you can easily just copy and paste these yourself if you want to. Got the website. Crypto Telegram group and YouTube, if that's a little bit more convenient for you guys. If you're not on our free stuff and you are interested in the crypto space, jump on it. If we can help you further, we do breakout sessions, we do one-on-one chats. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can do. Just reach out to us, either email me or contact us, or go through the website if you want to go a little bit deeper. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for attending, and hopefully that was valuable for you, and we'll catch you at the next event. Have a great night.
Good night. Bye.